Sony has confirmed Solo Leveling is the most watched anime in the history of Crunchyroll. Sony confirms Solo Leveling is the most watched anime ever on Crunchyroll. Sony officially confirmed that Solo Leveling was already Crunchyroll's most viewed anime of all time as of March 2025. Official. Solo Leveling is Crunchyroll's most viewed anime of all time. The anime has a total of 25 episodes over 2 seasons as of March 2025. So, this is circulating quite a bit in the anime community. There's a lot of good, bad, and down-the-middle discussion around it, and overall, there is just a lot of nuanced conversation around Solo Leveling right now, especially with just this overwhelming surge of popularity. So let's just dive headfirst into this, what this means. Is this a good or a bad thing, or in between? Let's just get all into that. So first off, one thing I want to point out is the episode count. Solo Leveling only has 25 episodes, and it is confirmed officially by Sony themselves and Crunchyroll that it is the most watched/viewed anime of all time. That is significant for a lot of reasons, and if you don't know what I mean by that, we gotta calculate everything else on Crunchyroll's platform. Crunchyroll has Dragon Ball, they have One Piece, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and obviously, some are more popular than others, but the fact that Solo Leveling came in kind of out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere if you were someone that read the webcomic or webtoon years ago, you knew it was very popular, but the anime kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people. And when you factor in just 25 episodes, it managed to eclipse all these massive titles, okay, that has just been a household name in the anime and manga community for decades. It's insane. It's an insane feat. And I will say, regardless if you dislike or like Solo Leveling, you gotta give credit where credit is due. Solo Leveling managed to accomplish a feat like that in just 25 episodes is pretty insane. Like, that is jaw-dropping and just something you just don't see. And I don't know if we'll probably ever see something like Solo Leveling for a while. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll eat those words, but I don't think we'll see something reach the heights of popularity as Solo Leveling has, probably for another few years from now. Maybe 4 or so years from now. Once again, could be entirely wrong with that. Anyways, the point of the matter is that Solo Leveling is extremely popular. And one of the biggest takeaways that you can get from this news, regardless if you view it as good or bad, is that we're now going to be getting a lot more Solo Leveling clones. Now, I want to stop you real quick before you say, but Chibi, there's already Solo Leveling clones. Yes, I know about webtoons, webcomics, and manga, and all that type of stuff that tries to replicate Solo Leveling. I am very well aware of this. I read a lot of them. What I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a lot of copies or surgence of Solo Leveling anime going forward, like anime, because with the popularity of Solo Leveling, all these businessmen, head honchos, Hollywood, all these different companies affiliated with anime and not affiliated with anime are going to take a look at just how profitable Solo Leveling was and be like, we need more of that. That's just how it works. Like, when something does extremely well in the market, people want to replicate that. They want to follow that formula. So I'm willing to bet you in the next few years, it's probably going to take about 1.5 to 2 years, but the next few years, we're going to see an uprise of just a lot of Solo Leveling copies. Like, we're going to see, like, constant copies of the formula, and we're going to see, like, a lot of webtoons or webcomics get adapted into anime that are just straight up pretty much Solo Leveling clones. That's what we're going to see. Now, if this is a good or a bad thing, it really just depends on your viewpoint, because there is legitimately some really good series that are Solo Leveling clones, that are good, that deserve an anime adaptation. But this is going to lead to a trend. 100%. Just as how Demon Slayer led to a trend of movie adaptations, like, for those that are unaware, thanks to Demon Slayer kind of, doing a movie format for a continuation of its story for canon material, it kind of caused a surge of a lot of different series to basically follow suit and start doing movie adaptations instead of a continuation for an anime season. We have seen a lot of that, and Demon Slayer definitely made it very popular, and also on top of that, I've talked about this before, Demon Slayer is kind of what I think brought a re-emergence of, like, spirits and demons and stuff and supernatural type themed stories, because at the time before Demon Slayer really got popular, mainly stories was about heroes and villains and stuff like that, but Demon Slayer kind of brought to the surface stuff similar to it, like, for instance, JJK and Chainsaw Man. But not getting back into that old topic, what I'm saying is that Solo Leveling is about to be a decade-defining anime. Feel free to disagree with me on that, but the reason why I say that is because of its popularity. And if you want proof of that, we gotta think back to earlier trends in the 2010s. SAO, Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan. Two very massive series that defined the 2010s and still has a rippling effect even into the 2020s. If you don't know what I mean by this, SAO, thanks to how popular it became, obviously it's not as popular as Solo Leveling has become, but it was popular for its time period. And thanks to that, a lot of businessmen and people within the anime industry saw it, and so they kind of sped run trying to get a lot of, series adapted like SAO. For instance, we had an emergence of a lot of isekai, a lot of transported, a lot of reincarnation series. In fact, you might say thanks to SAO's popularity is why we even got something maybe like Re:Zero or Mushoku Tensei, Konosuba, you kind of get the point, because that type of anime became very, very popular, and so if the market wants it, they're going to give it. And in this case, with Solo Leveling being so overwhelmingly popular, you're going to see a lot more clones like it that's going to emerge to replicate it. You're going to see more battle shonen, which we've already gotten a lot, but you're going to see definitely just straight up focusing on action and story beats that are very similar to, Solo Leveling. And that's what I'm getting at when it comes to, SAO. That SAO kind of brought an emergence and stuff like that. And then, if we're talking about Attack on Titan brought a lot of storytelling that was more gritty, but humanity backed up against the wall. Humanity is about to completely get demolished and die out because they're pushed to the brink. There were stories like that, but Attack on Titan really brought a lot of popularity in the anime industry for those type of themes, which caused a lot of replicas to appear as well. Kabaneri is a good example of that. Black Bullet is kind of similar to that as well. So what I'm trying to say is that Solo Leveling is about to have a massive effect. More than we could even realize at this time. It's just going to take a few years for us to really see it, but this is significant news. This is news that honestly is going to affect every anime watcher going forward, because this is going to deem what gets adapted and what does not get adapted. I do think that we're still going to get stories like Frieren, for instance. Yeah, 100%, but we're definitely going to see more priority on projects like this. Now, this gets into the next thing. Solo Leveling, obviously at this time, we know it's going to get a Season 3, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. I think with this, it's already a no-brainer at this time that Solo Leveling will get a Season 3. I mean, it's money. This series prints money. The question, though, is can A1 print this series out quick enough? I mean, we know A1 is pushed to the brink when it comes to their production and stuff. We've seen it time and time again with their projects in anime and how Aniplex operates behind the scenes. I'm going to assume that they're definitely going to try to fast-track Solo Leveling as quick as possible for Season 3, but I doubt it's going to be able to be pumped out within a year. It's not possible. It's not. So, we know we're going to get a Season 3, but I wonder if we're going to get it a lot sooner than we expect, because of just the statistics right here. Regardless of the situation, how do you feel? Do you agree, or are you happy about this news? Are you upset about this news? Are you sad that we're going to get to see more action series like Solo Leveling? Are you wanting more stuff like this? Just be honest in the comments below. I'm legit curious to see what you all think, but I'll leave it at that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.